Hello, I'm Caitlin Hatch, and today we're going to be talking about transitions, which is a section in the IEP which covers post-secondary life. So, transitions IEP, who helps make it? We have to understand the team members that are in the transitions IEP, which are people who are already in the IEP process, which is the student, the parents, or legal guardian of the child, the special education teacher, the general ed teacher. There's also the school representative, which would be like the principal, or could even be a school social worker, depending on it. And then later on, once they hit age 14, which is according to law, but it has to start at age 16, a transition service agent, which totally depends on the child. So what does each member do? For the student, since the transition IEP is all about them, they need to assume leadership and begin to have a self-advocacy and understand his or her own skills and what she wishes and what they wish to do later on in life. The parent has to be involved with the IEP so they can understand the goals for their child and how to help achieve them. Also, the special education teacher for setting measurable goals of the student and to collect data from observation and certain tests like the Esther J. Revised. The general education teacher, which is due to a least restrictive environment, can assist with these goals in the IEP and help with leadership and among other things. The career instructor, this depends on what the student wishes to do later on in life or has yet to choose. They can help further their education set by the special ed teacher and the general ed teacher. So what exactly is transitions? Transitions is mandated by IDEA and goes into the IEP at age 16 and planning starts at age 14. The students have to have measurable goals for post-secondary activities. The key word is measurable. You have to measure their goals somehow. This includes college, and once they graduate, the IEP turns into a 504 plan, independent living, and other adult services, to name a few. It is for the IEP only turns into a 504 plan if they graduate, which means getting a diploma. If they get a certificate of completion, it still is an IEP. And that continues until a certain age, and that depends on your state. And then the IDEA law says transitions must be at age 16 and be measurable based on the choices and updated annually and appropriate for the child. Next is the laws. The laws involved are the Workforce Investment Act of 1918, which allows for funds and guidelines for helping people with barriers to employment become trained and to enter the workforce. Section 504 prevents discrimination based on disabilities in the workplace. Organizations that receive money from any federal agency because it is a federal law. Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, helps protect people with disabilities in both public and private sectors. And Americans with Disabilities Act Amendments Act of 2018 clarifies some sections of the ADA which was previously unclear. Now the Esther J. Revised is one of the tests students can take. There are many forms of it, but they all measure and collect data in the same way. Academic strengths and weaknesses, life skills and behaviors, self-determination, and self-advocacy, career interests, and future plans and goals. And like I said, the Esther J. Revised depends on the child's disability, and there can be many forms of it. Now, I worked with a student, and I noticed the student was very quiet, and she was soft-spoken even when you were talking to her. She liked receiving help from tasks, and her body language gave off that she was a very nice person, just very timid and shy. So, for her Esther J. Revive test I gave to her, her employment was 7 out of 13, which is 53%. Recreation was 3 out of 4, 75%. Home living was 10 out of 15, which is 66%. Community, which is 2 out of 7, which is 29%. Post-secondary, which is 4 out of 8, 50%. So all over, she had 26 out of 47, or 55%. So she's halfway there, but not to the level we want her to be ready for post-secondary life. Now I had to interpret your results. I know due to the low scores in employment and community participation, we can see that's where she needs most help. To help with employment skills, we can go over why college is important for certain jobs, help her find the necessary information for a job application and skills for an interview. This can be done in the classroom, and then it can be reinforced with the community agent, and the community agent can also help her with houseworks, housing, banking, and other things like scheduling appointments and to buy insurance. So, for example, we can go to a bank, and the banker, if they let us, will help her understand why we need to know stuff like interest, checking, and savings accounts, what the difference is, and how interest is made. And then the goals have to apply to subjects like English or math, and we can have, for example, student will be able to list skills for the job 80% of the time. It is measurable and applies to English because she has to write out what would make her qualified for the job, and it helps her gain an understanding of what she is good at. Now, teaching in other agencies. Other agencies would be a huge help with our student. They can help reaffirm the skills taught in the classroom to help prepare for life outside of high school. Employment agencies can help reaffirm the job skills we're going over, help her with job applications, and the importance of knowing certain skills for jobs, because each job, depending on what you're going for, requires a different skill set. And banks could also help her learn about loans and bank accounts, as I said in the previous slide. Now, there are different domains of transition. Self-determination, and a few of those include choice-making, problem-solving, self-awareness, student-directed IEP, meaning they direct it and understand what they need, and self-advocacy. Social skills include expressing and understanding feelings, knowing needs, and building on others' ideas. That's for yourself, and when it comes to employment, includes answers for job interviews and following directions and any other skills that normally come with doing a job. Career development is exploring occupation, planning for education beyond high school, developing job-specific, meaning what job they want, and keeping skills, being able to keep the job, and engaging in job-seeking activities. Now, the student does not need to go on to secondary education, meaning college, if they do not wish to. They can go into a job if they so wish. Independent life, home and family life, what to do in free time, leisure activities, or entertainment. And post-secondary education includes test taking, essays, time management, asking questions, using calendars. Oh, good time management twice. Setting goals and taking notes. Assistive technology. Assistive technology is any piece of equipment or product that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. Now, this is protected under IDEA. Examples, a few of them are a voice recorder like Dragon, meaning when you speak, what you say is recorded for you. A hearing aid, which would help you hear better. I have met a friend who is deaf who has one of the hearing aids that helps them improve their hearing, and a Braille typewriter, so they'll be able to type words out using Braille, which is, I've seen it on TV, and it actually does look pretty cool. And there are many others. So for tracking your students' progress, normally the state law requires that the students take tests 1 to 5 years after completing the program, so it can be any time in between. So once they complete transitions, have graduated, they want to collect the data, see if transition services is actually working to further the funding for it. And you can do a summary. You have to do a summary of performance yearly and set measurable goals for the person of his or her chosen career. So you can set the measurable goals yearly for each student. You can help with many things. Summary performance, you have their info, and you keep track of their areas of strength and weaknesses and see if it improves as the years go on. And finally, in conclusion, as we've gone over, student transitions is part of IEP that has to start at age 16 but can start as early as age 14. is protected under federal law, which is the law of the land. It helps students become more independent and start becoming self-advocates, which is huge. The Yesterday Revised is only one of the tests to help a student begin transition services. The Yesterday Revised measures different areas for the child to know post-secondary schools and continuing education, independent life, or job seeking. And a community advisor may be added to the IEP team depending on the results of the Yesterday Revised and students' wishes later on in life. And that's it. Bye.